Hey, this is Nicole Kelly, host of Disarming Disability. Thanks for listening to the following show on Public House Media.
This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Your Life Matters, where we talk about dreaming big and dreaming bold to reach your wildest dreams in both your health and your happiness. A new show comes out every single Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Your Life Matters. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hey everyone, welcome to Beauties Headcanons, where we're nerdy and you probably are too. This is Emily and I'm here with Lindsay and Elisabeth, and we're here to talk nerdy to you about a bunch of movies. Because my goodness, have there been movies coming out lately. So we are going to cover a few of the ones that we've seen and enjoyed and maybe not enjoyed. I don't know. We'll see how things come out. This is going to have some spoilers in it, just a heads up. So whatever movies we talk about, we will tell you the name of the movie first before we start talking about any spoilers. So you guys will know ahead of time whether you should continue listening or not. That is going to be up to you though. So you have been warned, there will be spoilers ahead. And with that, let's get talking with Elisabeth about some things that she saw.
All right, well, the one movie that I was really excited to see for the first part of the year was Alita, or it was Alita Battle Angel. It's actually based off of an anime, which was adapted from a manga, of course, and that's actually been in development by James Cameron since 2000. So this is a long, ongoing project of his to adapt this story to the big screen. So I was kind of curious as to how it would go. I haven't seen the anime itself or read the manga, but of course, I'm always a little leery of live action adaptations. But from everything I have read and from everything that I've seen, it seems that he remained pretty faithful to the source material. And the ending itself, while, basically in the grand scheme of things, it is an ending, it basically perfectly sets up a sequel. Because, I was watching it and I was honestly expecting more from the movie. I was actually disappointed it was over because I'm no, I want to see more. So whether they're actually going to do more, I don't know. There hasn't been an announcement, and also Disney has acquired Fox now, which is who put out Alita. So who knows if they're actually going to do it or not? But I kind of hope that they will, because it was really enjoyable from an entertainment standpoint, and also it felt like it was really well developed with the world, the characters. I think the only complaint I have is that the second half the pace seemed to pick up a lot more and be kind of dissonant with the slower pace of the first half. But other than that, I really enjoyed it overall. Honestly, I enjoyed it way more than Captain Marvel.
I saw the Alita Battle Angel movie, and my husband and I loved it. I don't remember if we both saw it twice or just he saw it twice, but he saw it at least twice. He absolutely loved that movie. And I think like you said, part of it is that you just really felt immersed in the world. And like me, I don't have any background information on the manga or the anime. So I'm starving for more details, because I want to learn more about the cities and the war that they mentioned in the movie and all of that, and just how everything kind of came to be before Alita, and then how things continue after her, because I'm just so interested. They totally set it up for more though, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
They could totally continue the storyline with that main what was his name now? The main evil guy that was kind of running everything.
Oh, yeah. Nova. who
Nova, yes.
who that was an uncredited cameo by Edward Norton.
See, we were trying to figure out who that was. My husband's like, I know him. I recognize
Oh, my
him.
husband pegged him
I
immediately. He's like,
bet.
is that Edward Norton? And I was looking it up because he isn't actually listed on the cast, but it is
Yeah,
online that he is in an uncredited cameo as Nova.
gotcha. So that's the guy. And so, like, what else is he in that we would recognize?
He was in the Good Hulk movie,
Okay, the
the
good
one
Hulk
that is
movie.
officially considered a part of
Okay,
MCU canon.
good. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so can you guys tell me what is Alita about?
Alita is about. So there is this doctor who you meet like pretty much immediately, and he's going through this salvage yard. And in this future, after this war,
Right. So there's this war that everybody in Earth is kind of like post-apocalyptic almost, and like so it's kind of like everybody on the streets are on like in this one city where the doctor lives and everybody else lives. It's kind of like they're scrounging for their best life. They're kind of stuck in whatever class they're in. But then there's this big floating city above the other city, and that's where everybody in high society lives, and not much is really known about that place or how to get there or who's up there or anything. But the doctor, he goes through scrap yards and he helps put people back together because a lot of people are in what's the word? Not androids. Cyborgs. A lot of people are cyborgs because if they have like a medical issue, they just kind of take the limb off and attach on a robot part.
Oh.
So that's he's the doctor and he's fixing people up, and he finds the like main core, like full on head and like
like the chest and
respiratory
heart
system,
area.
chest, heart, upper respiratory area of this person. And so he takes it back because it was like a really rare find. She was in perfect condition, and so he took it back to his house, repaired her, put a body on her, and she wakes up and has no idea who she is. But her
the first
brain
part
is
like her trying to like figure out who she is and like experiencing
Mhm.
this whole world. And this is, I think, what is a great departure from Captain Marvel, because in Captain Marvel we jump in like 6 years after Carol has lost her memories. But in Alita, we're there immediately, so we get to experience and interact with this brand new world with Alita.
And like she doesn't even know how to eat an orange properly. She doesn't know anything.
Yeah. So that's I think where that is a good departure, because I mean, obviously with Carol, she's used to everything, but you know, it kind of loses this whole mystique of what everything is and getting, you know, kind of reacclimated, whereas we actually get to watch that process with Alita, and we connect more with the character on that level.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I was missing from Captain Marvel. Like Captain Marvel to me was pretty much just an action movie, which it was a well done action movie, and I really enjoyed it as an action movie, but I didn't get it as a character development movie. So yeah, I think Alita did a really good job of helping us connect with Alita, which was the name of the main girl in the movie. And help us understand kind of how she doesn't know who she is. She's trying to figure out who she is. Come to find out, she has these like crazy fight instincts. Like she just knows these really rare forms of combat that she just kind of like goes into the zone and does them. And then so like people see her do this and they're like, who is she? And they kind of have an idea just because of the way she looks, but she has no clue because she's only seen, after she's woken up, she's only seen the people that have been around her, and she's seen her reflection, and she just realizes that she looks a little different. That's it. But that's...
And the second part of the movie, they find this spaceship that belongs to
that's right.
which is the United
Republic of Mars?
Yeah, United Republic of Mars. Yeah. And she goes onto the ship and she just instinctively enters this code and she gets this brand new cyborg body. That, she basically thinks that, this is mine. This has to be mine. Like,
What, like, because
how
why
else
else would
would I
it
just
come out?
know? Yeah, how else would I just know this code
Uh-huh.
or, know that this is here? It's like she was just guided on this instinct that I know something is here. And the doctor at first like refuses to put it on her because he's like, this technology and everything like this is everything that we fought against in the war.
Yeah.
Was the one that was attacking Earth. But eventually, her body gets too damaged and he's forced to, put her back in that body. And once she does, she kind of starts accepting a little bit more of who she is. She starts having a few more flashbacks. One of her flashbacks, she recognizes the name Nova as the person that they're fighting against. And she has one long flashback of her and I guess, like other soldiers or combatants like her trying, they're on Earth and they're trying to get up to the floating city to get Nova. And, and that is pretty much the guess that, that's where she, kind of, more or less lost her body at that point in time.
Yeah.
But, she, after that, after she remembers about Nova, she's like, okay, so Nova, this bad guy. So now I've got to go after him. And she kind of starts to try to get back on this original mission that she was sent on like 300 years before.
Yeah, and that's another thing is it's been that long since her body or since her like torso had a body, So it's been like 300 years since her brain was active as well. So that's kind of crazy too cuz like the doctor said like the first day she woke up, he said, "Well, you're very like intact or very human brain." Or something like that. He like implied that her brain was in super pristine condition and he was super surprised by that. So like, yeah, I really like it. It's so good.
Oh yeah. Oh, and another person who some people might recognize is in there. The the bounty hunter Zapan. He is played by the same guy who plays Francis or Ajax in the Deadpool movie.
Yep, same guy. Basically the same character too.
Yeah, pretty much.
But he does such a good job with that character. Yeah, just as a cyborg, exactly. And he's a pretty good cyborg character. He plays like a semi-villain kind of character, but he's not like the ultimate villain. So
yeah,
it's interesting. So yeah, that's Alita Battle Angel. I don't know if either of you guys have seen this one, but I am super. I love these movies. How to Train Your Dragon came out with their third movie, and I love it so much. How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World. I absolutely loved it because it was less about like dramatic dragon fights and like kind of what you would expect to see in another progression movie is like more fluff material. It's actually about like the progression of Hiccup and Toothless's relationship as like best friends and how to navigate growing up through all of that, because they realize Hiccup is growing up, getting older. He's the chief of his village now. Toothless has been declared the king of the dragons, and so now they have to kind of figure out how their roles are impacted by their relationship and how to best continue in those roles to best serve their own kind. And a lot of people are trying to get Hiccup to marry Astrid, and a lot of people and Toothless finds a female dragon that's not a Night Fury. She's a white dragon called a Light Fury is what they're calling her. I don't remember if they named her honestly, but she's a great character in the movie too. And so Toothless is just completely infatuated with her, and Hiccup is like, all right, well, bring her back here so we can keep her safe, because basically Burke has become this like refuge for dragons so that they can try to keep the like dragon hunters away and that sort of thing. But it's getting to be a little bit much, and so Hiccup has to decide whether he's going to try to keep all the dragons safe or try to find this mystical place called Hidden World, the Hidden World where apparently all of the dragons came from originally, and it's been too difficult for all the dragons to find.
Okay.
So I just thought the movie was so great in going through the different like feelings that Hiccup and Toothless were both going through, and also including some still really cool dragon fights and a cool villain. A dangerous villain, actually. Hiccup's mom is in it as well, and everybody is just all of the good old characters we remember from the first two movies they've grown up a little bit more, but also in some ways they haven't grown up a little bit more. So it's just great. It's fantastic.
I was totally going to see it, but as I was going to go see it, I realized I have not seen the second one, or at least I don't think so.
Oh,
At least I don't remember anything about the second one.
you should definitely see
So
it.
I'm like, well, I don't think I can see the third one then until I see the second.
Yeah, you should definitely see the
rewatch it.
second one first, because things happen in the second one that you need to know about for the third one.
Yeah, so I was like, I'll hold off on it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Definitely see the second one.
Yeah.
And of course, Wonder of Wonders, you guys both have younger kids than I do. I don't think I've seen any of them.
That is possible. Definitely possible. Although the first one came
I
out.
I actually saw it when I had no kids, so.
Yep, same here. I saw it when I was in college. Paul and I saw it. The first movie came out in like 2010 or 2011, and we saw it like 3 or 4 times in theaters because we loved it so much, and then we bought it instantly as soon as it came out. I loved it so much. That was probably one of the first movies that we bought like as a couple. So
very cool.
Yeah, we loved it. It was before kids, and then the second one came out 2 or 3 years ago, something like
Sounds
that.
about right.
But we were super excited to see that one, and then we saw the next one again, and we're like, yes. Also, one of the characters in this movie that is also in the second movie is voiced by Kit Harington, Jon Snow.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's a good character too. He is the main. In the second movie, that character is the main. Well, he's kind of like not a main antagonist. He's kind of like one of the lackeys of the antagonist, I guess you could say. But yeah, so he's Eret, son of Eret. If you ever hear that joke around, it's great. But yeah, I thought they did a fantastic job in the Hidden World movie about I guess the main takeaway that I got from it is sometimes like the best way to grow up for people who are close friends is like just to go your separate ways, part as friends still, and just enjoy the next chapters of your life. And if something brings you back together later on, awesome. If not, that's fine. You still have your next chapters of your lives that you're enjoying. So that was kind of my takeaway from it.
Okay.
And then, I saw another movie. My husband and I love movies, and so we gifted ourselves the AMC Stubs subscription so we could see like a whole bunch of movies whenever we want to, pretty much, as long as we can find a babysitter. So we also saw Lego Movie 2, the second part. That's what it's called. So, it's great. It's just hilarious. We were laughing constantly while we watched it, partly because we watched the first one and then immediately went to see the second one. That helped a lot because a lot of the jokes just play right off of the jokes from the first movie. And they also just take jabs at the characters or the actors that are in the movie as well, which is just fantastic. Aquaman, Jason Momoa had a cameo a couple times in the movie, which is fun.
Oh.
Yeah. But then Batman is voiced by a different guy than Ben Affleck. Wow. Brain fart. Ben Affleck. It's Will Arnett. Right? It's Will Arnett still. Same as the Lego Batman movie.
He does a pretty good job.
He does a good job, yeah. And then there's Superman is in it too, but I don't think it's Henry Cavill. I think it's someone else as well. So they let Jason Momoa in Aquaman, and it looks like Jason Momoa's Aquaman, not the classic Aquaman.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Well, that makes sense.
Yes, that does make sense. But the Batman in the movie looks like the '89 Batman.
Ooh, yes.
So, yeah. But then what else? Okay. There's also songs. It's kind of a musical, but not really. Like there's songs that throughout the movie, but it's kind of like the first one where there's like one song that a recurring song like goes on throughout the movie. Like the first one was Everything Is Awesome. This song's gonna get stuck in your head, and it definitely does. but it's so good though. So there's that, and it complements the first movie really, really well, but you should definitely see the first movie before you see the second movie. And then if you've seen the first one, the Honey, Where Are My Pants show, that joke comes full circle. Like it leaves the Lego world and actually enters where like there's the real people playing with the Legos. The real people talk about Honey, Where Are My Pants? So it's great. So I really enjoyed it. Like literally we were probably laughing at least 75% of the time just because there were so many jokes. Jokes on jokes on jokes on jokes.
That's awesome.
So,
the Lego movies that I've watched, I haven't seen like the official like Lego movies. I've seen the DC ones.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And those are absolutely like my favorite Lego movies ever.
They're fantastic.
They actually make me like Superman in those movies.
Yeah.
So that's like a huge thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, if they even keep up like a percentage of the creativity and the comedy that the DC or the Justice League ones, then I'm definitely interested in going on the regular ones.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would say they're basically like along the same vein as the Lego Batman, the Lego DC. I forget which other Lego DC movie I saw. I think I told you guys about it, but I don't remember which one it was. I don't know. It was one of them. Anyways, we enjoyed it. Definitely enjoyed the Lego Batman movie. That one was just fun.
Oh yeah.
For the Lego movies, I did see the first one, but I feel like that was 4 or 5 years ago.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting that they are able to play off of all the same jokes and come full circle with all those things, because you almost have to go back and watch the old one to be able to really appreciate how continuous, how much continuity they actually put in.
And there was a good amount of new stuff. Like not all of the jokes are from the first one, but you'll definitely catch more of the hidden subtleties if you watch them back to back.
Of course.
Yeah. So like I think they did a good job of kind of balancing it, because there's some new characters in there and everything too. There's like a whole new concept of like there's this wedding that's supposed to take place, I guess. And so that's they're trying to like navigate this whole thing where there's somebody who wants to marry somebody and they're trying to, I don't know, because if you guys remember at the end of the first Lego movie, the sister is now allowed to play with the Legos.
Mm-hmm.
And so now all of her Legos are mixed in with all of the brothers' Legos. And so it's kind of them trying to figure out, like, okay, who's the good guys? Who's the bad guys? Are there good guys and bad guys? And if there are, like, which ones are which? And are we going to work together? Are we going to fight and figure it out by themselves or what? So it was fun.
Okay, what's next?
Next is Lindsay.
Oh, Dumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of impressed with all of the, how many of the new live action Disney movies that are coming out this year. And Dumbo was the first one. And then Elisabeth and I were talking recently, I think we've also got Aladdin coming out, and Lion King coming out in live action. The cool thing about Dumbo is that, the original came out in 1941. And I didn't get the chance to see it before I went to go see the live action. And that was probably for the best. I don't actually even know if I've seen the original, but, we kind of all know the story. We've all cried when Dumbo loses his mom, and we kind of know what happens, right? Mm-hmm. So there is a lot of real fun actors in this one. It's really cool to see Danny DeVito play like a fun, loving ringleader for the circus freaks, I guess is the best way to say it. And there's a lot of really fun background story to this. So that is one thing I really want to give credit to Disney for. They are really adding an element to the live action ones that that isn't there with. I mean, I don't know if it's something you can only do with humans or if you can like do with live action. I guess we'll find out a little bit with Lion King. But it's very exciting to see them add something that we haven't seen before. And the visuals in this one were so much fun. I was a little worried about, okay, we're not going to hear Dumbo talk. Obviously, figuring out how to do that would have been very interesting. But there's plenty of emotion coming from him and his mother throughout the entire movie. And, there's a couple parts where my daughter was crying during the movie, which, is always a pretty good indicator of it being a good one if it catches you in the feels. And I was super excited. There's a couple of famous actors in this one. I think Colin Farrell is in it. And he plays one of the main guys. It's a little hard to really get behind his acting, but the character is interesting and he gets to grow throughout the film.
Oh, yes, so. That is his name. Sorry. Colin Farrell is his name.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He's also in the Fantastic Beast movies as well.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. And again, like it's a very different character, but it's hard for me to get behind whether it's just him playing himself reading lines, what I mean?
I see what you mean. Okay.
But it was a good role for him in that sense.
Okay.
There's also a leading lady in it that I was really excited to see her. And Aurelia and I do that thing, I'm always joking about the IMDb thing, but we do that at home, not in the movie theater because that would be rude.
Yes.
But while we were watching it, of course, I'm asking Aurelia, who is that? And it's Ava Green. She played the Miss Peregrine in Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Okay.
She was also in Penny Dreadful. But she's got a real great way of doing the accents, and she plays a French woman who is a trapeze artist, and so she does some stuff with Dumbo. And the only thing I can say is I think that Disney really could have done that a little bit better.
Was it very like...
There's a scene where Dumbo and, she kind of has to like mount Dumbo and fly.
Oh.
With him. And it's real weird. She did a great job as this character. I'm used to her being dark and broody, and she wasn't dark and broody in this one. She was almost lovable and mother-like. And it was just hard when she got on Dumbo and flew on his back. I was very like
the connection between animated Dumbo and real person on his back.
It was weird
kind of thing. I gotcha. Yeah.
It was just strange. It just felt like they could have either done a better job or kind of faked it a little bit better. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Disney, so I guess I was expecting it to just be a little more flawless, and it was just weird for me.
Sure.
But as far as things go, it was really amazing. The really cool part is I looked it up. The scene that they set is a place called Dreamland. And this is an actual park that existed on Coney Island in 1911 or so. And in actual reality, this was created by a billionaire. He created it and was insane about electricity, and he made this amazing park. And in the movie, Dreamland is also made by an amazing billionaire who's obsessed with the lavishness of a circus park amusement attraction. And he gets overzealous, and some accident happens, and Dumbo flies away. And this billionaire wants to shut down the park so that he can trap every Dumbo. I don't know how that was going to work, but they end up going in and turning down the electric tower so that the whole park burns down. It's a catastrophe. In real life, the same thing happened to Dreamland. Only what happened is there was an electrical shortage in the tower, and because this billionaire had been insane about all the lights and how extravagant the lights had to be, and they weren't safe, they ended up causing a huge fire and burning down the park. So it was kind of cool because it was like sort of loosely based on reality.
That's really cool.
It was
I
really-
enjoy that parallel.
Yeah.
I do like it when they draw events from like, you know, real life
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that into stories and kind of incorporate them in some way.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so,
Like Easter eggs.
right. It was
Yeah.
really cool. You know, they had the element of the freak show and the circus, and then they, of course, if you look at abandoned parks and stuff, because sometimes I like to just go crazy on YouTube, you can see like the old abandoned parks in different places, and the old pictures of these places. There isn't really anything now of the actual Dreamland here in the United States, but Walt Disney actually did collaborate with some entrepreneurs in Japan, I believe, to make a Dreamland over there. And it's real creepy how similar they are to
Ooh.
to each other, and the lavishness. And if you guys ever want to just look up like abandoned amusement parks and just go crazy, it's very
Yeah.
interesting to see. But it was really cool to know that Dreamland was an actual place, that it was, even if it was loosely, it was more tightly knit, more tightly based, I think, in this particular instance. But it was just really cool to see the parallels, and then the element of reality in it. The costuming was really nice. Everything looked really, really well done in that way.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I have not actually seen the original Disney animated Dumbo movie.
No.
So I don't know whether I should see this one without having seen that, or if I should see that other one first, or see them in reverse, where I see this one first and then I watch the original. What is your suggestion?
I don't know. I'll admit that I do know that I probably have seen at least parts of the original, but I don't think it took away at all that I wasn't sure or didn't remember. It's a really great story, and even I have heard that the original animated people avoid because it makes them sad, and I think
I've heard that too.
I think there's a different outcome in this one that's happier.
Okay.
Because in the end, well, I won't spoil it for you, but in the end, it's actually quite happy. So it's a very nice, happily ever after, as Disney goes.
Oh,
Yeah, it's very
yay.
cute.
I actually have seen the original Dumbo like fairly recently, and I'm planning on seeing the remake. Mainly because I'm interested, because like the 1950s Cinderella, there are some problematic, including outright racist themes in the original Dumbo, particularly in those crows, because they are very extremely stereotypically, obviously, you know, meant to be that stereotypical black character, and their leader is even named Jim Crow.
Oh, goodness.
Like, you know,
Oh,
Yeah.
there aren't any crows in the remake.
oh, thank God. Okay. Thank God.
Good.
So yeah, it is interesting, I think, to take a look at both of them and compare like how different those things are going to be. You know, seeing it now from this perspective where Disney has kind of grown a little bit more as a company and realizes that, you know, these kinds of things are problematic and harmful.
Right.
And, you know, kind of try to tackle them from a new perspective and take it on in a new direction. Kind of like they did with Cinderella, with, you know, kind of removing the whole, you know, oh, I need to find a prince and depend on a prince, you know, put it more as, you know, oh, well, we need to be kind to each other and, you know, happy and enjoy ourselves. And, you know, we'll find our own happiness on the way.
Yeah, and for Cinderella, happiness just happened to come with her husband, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was actually going to ask Lindsay, could you feel the Tim Burton-ness of this one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a happier, lighter kind of thing for him, though. Like it wasn't.
Okay,
it
that's
wasn't
kind
as
of what
dark
I
as
thought
we're
it
used
might
to.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely the cinematography, I would say there's a lot of elements
Okay.
of that I could feel
Yeah.
in it for sure. And
Gotcha.
Aurelia even
Okay.
commented on that too at the end. She had seen, because
Uh-huh.
the very first thing you see is his name at the end of the movie, and she had said that
Yeah.
too. She was like, "Oh, that's why, because it's Tim Burton." So
Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of his movies do have that like almost antique
yeah,
looking
and that might have been like
like
part of
yeah.
it too, with the 1911 setting,
Yeah.
the the freaks and the circus elements really
Mhm.
were were kind of his style, you know. Um,
Yeah.
there was almost sort of like I don't want to say like a haze, but like a dust bowl kind of feel
Sure,
to a lot of
sure.
the shots. So
Okay.
yeah, it was very cool.
Gotcha. I always think of Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd and how that just looked so like dark and almost black and white, but it wasn't because it was
Mhm.
still color. But I think Dumbo
Yeah.
has a little bit more apparent color in
Oh
it
yes.
because of the circus and
Yeah.
everything like that. And yeah,
I mean, it's almost like as bright and vibrant as Tim Burton could get, I think.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Do we have any other movies to discuss?
No, I think we're on to nerd news.
Are we on to nerd news? Which means the newest one that's coming up is Shazam, which comes out
Woohoo!
today, right? April 5th. April
Yes.
4th or 5th? I don't remember which one. But there was that Fandango like pre-screening thing like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, I don't know, it bothered me that they were like letting a whole bunch of people go see it beforehand. I don't know why it bothers me though. It's kind of, I guess maybe to me it like cheapens the people that want to go see it when it comes out on its actual release date. Because we've been like so excited for it and it's been like set to release on this specific date. And now it's like, okay, so I guess it's kind of already let out, the cat's out of the bag. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just excited to see it because
Yeah.
this is actually like a DC movie I'm excited to see.
Me too. I'm excited for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm excited because it looks like a really like joyous, upbeat, not as visually dark DC movie, and I don't know anything about Shazam the character, except for that there has some kind of distinction between a DC Captain Marvel and there's actually the Captain Marvel from Marvel, so I don't really know all of the details on that, but I do know that Shazam used to be called Captain Marvel, and that's about it. But I'm also excited to see it because Zachary Levi plays Shazam, and I just love him as an actor. He's a great dude.
Yeah. So I actually had no idea who this character even was, and that Shazam is actually the word he says in order to become this superhero
Yeah.
character. So I actually wanted to do a shout out to the Carlin Brothers YouTube channel because they did a really good way of describing the difference between the DC Captain Marvel and the Marvel Captain Marvel and the timeline of that. So I don't want to take away from that at all, but I definitely do want to give a shout out and even suggest to you, Emily, to go watch the video because it came out just a couple of days ago, and it was so
awesome.
cool.
I'm going to check that out. It's been a while since I've watched some Super Carlin Brothers, but I definitely have enjoyed their movies in the past. They do a really good job of explaining stuff, and they have a ton of energy, so sometimes I can get a little burnt out on them, but they do a great job, and they're very thorough in their explanation. So I think I'll check that out and find out some more information.
Yeah, and so essentially it is that this character in DC was the original Captain Marvel, and before the Marvel franchise had happened, it was, we all know Stan Lee and Timely Comics, but the best part of that was the way that I understood it is that DC started out with Captain Marvel as an actual character, and then Marvel was the character that Marvel ended up starting with, and it was sort of like a DC Superman and Captain Marvel were so much in line that Marvel wanted to make a character that was like that. So they started with Marvel, and then all of those elements and evolution happened with that character where it went through several different names and wasn't really Captain Marvel until it was eventually Captain Marvel. And so they had to keep the name, but they had to make all of this evolution in order to grow on that particular character. All the while, DC has Superman and this Shazam Captain Marvel character. So it's very interesting
Gotcha.
to listen to all of that and then to have it explained. Basically, before I watched the episode from them, I didn't even want to bother watching Shazam, and now I do. So, and you guys know how much I love DC.
Yeah. So much.
Well, Billy Batson is a really interesting character. I haven't read a whole lot of comics with him, but he was featured a good little bit in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon that I absolutely adore. And so it was, I did really kind of fall in love with him with that. And then I did also obviously see him a little bit in the first Injustice video game and the comics for that. So I'm not like super knowledgeable about the character itself, but I'm enough to know that, like, you know, obviously I like him, I'm interested in him, and the way that they seem to be doing this movie, I'm even more interested in it because they're not going this whole, you know, this whole depressing dark arc for him, because they could, but I'm glad that they don't.
Yeah. I think it helps that they chose to make the characters very upbeat, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because that is very much like Billy Batson. He's, you know, despite whatever circumstances he's going through, he is pretty upbeat. You know?
yeah, exactly. Because he's like a foster kid or something. Is that how it works out? So it starts off where he's like in this new foster home and he meets some other kid and they're friends. And then the story kind of goes on from there.
Yeah. So I'm actually really interested in it.
I'm excited.
For one.
I'm excited. Okay. So we talked about Shazam. We've got Endgame tickets on sale right now. And also there is a brand new trailer that just came out featuring a scene with Tony and Steve reuniting. It looks like it's real. Like, it looks like they're actually in the same place.
And in the trailer, Tony's hair looks really great.
Yeah, like he went through some stuff, man. I don't know if that's just because of his, like, they just did that, or I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Definitely excited, though. So get your tickets.
He's been through a lot, so.
Yeah. Get your tickets. Go see it on April 26th is when it comes out, correct? Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. I think I've seen like 2 trailers, and I think there's actually 3. So
one of them in the middle doesn't really have any new information.
I want to see all of them. That's true.
Okay,
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's just more of a visual thing, I think.
Gotcha. Yeah. Next in the nerd news.
I have a couple of little tidbits from the gaming world. The MK11 roster was just updated. I think I have not been able to confirm this yet just because there's so many different sources to sift through, but I think they have finalized the roster, or at least like the base roster for the game. They just revealed a brand new character that has never been in a Mortal Kombat game before, called Cetrion. She is an elder goddess, and I've seen some of the gameplay trailer for her, and she basically sort of operates like the Avatar. She has control over these different elements, like the like earth, and she controls plants and water and fire, and she looks really cool. So, like, this game I've been so hyped for since the teaser trailer for it dropped. So, I mean, I'm beyond excited to play this game. Absolutely. Every combat cast that has come on, I've been just watching and absorbing everything. There have been gamers on YouTube that have been streaming the beta so that we could kind of get a look at some of the gameplay and some of the different customization options that are available for the characters that are at least available on the beta.
Yeah.
So that's going to be excited. It's releasing April 23rd, and I think they're actually doing a giveaway promo with Monster,
Okay.
the energy drink. So check out the NetherRealm Studios Twitter or Ed Boon's Twitter, and that should have a little bit more information if you're interested in getting in on that.
Oh, and then
And
what platforms is this going to be out on?
all of them: Xbox, PlayStation, PC. I'd heard something about Switch. I'm not sure if that was finalized or not, but the big ones are getting
it. Yeah. Okay.
And one other little tidbit of news. This is probably only going to be like really super relevant to maybe a few of you, but it's so cool that I had to include it. I don't know if a lot of people know, but there is a very sweet YouTube gamer on there called Grandma Shirley.
Yes.
She's in her 70s and she plays Skyrim, and she also does vlogs and other little stuff too. And she's collectively known as Grandma Shirley, and she is the most amazing YouTuber out there. I absolutely love her. And people have petitioned Bethesda to like put her in the next Elder Scrolls game.
That's
because,
cool.
You know, we're not sure if she's gonna make it to the next release.
I mean, there's no release date, so we don't know.
Yeah. So we don't know. And the last game, Skyrim, they actually did put in a character as a tribute to a big Elder Scrolls fan who had died before the release of Skyrim. He was known, so if you go into Skyrim, if you go to Rorikstead and you pick up Eric the Slayer, he is based off of a real life person who was a huge fan of Oblivion, a huge fan of Elder Scrolls. And he unfortunately, I think he had cancer and he passed before Skyrim was even finished development.
Well, that's cool.
They put him in. So they put him in, and so they actually have confirmed that they are scanning in. They're using actually like technology to actually scan in Grandma Shirley.
That's fantastic.
She is going to be an NPC in the next Elder Scrolls game.
That's excellent.
So, yes, I can't wait. That's going to be one of my first things is when I
find
play
Grandma
the games,
Shirley.
I want to go and find Grandma Shirley.
That's so cool. That's awesome. All right, we've also got a new trailer for Game of Thrones that just came out, and the premiere is in just over a week, so that's happening. It feels like it hasn't. It feels like it's never going to get here because it feels like we've been waiting forever, anyways. So it kind of like snuck up on me. I didn't really realize that it's just about a week away.
I know, me too. You know, when you've been waiting for so long, it's just like. You know, you don't really realize how long it's been and how close it is actually getting.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Also, I know we've talked about the Joker solo origin movie recently, and a trailer just came out for that, which I saw. And first of all, Joaquin Phoenix makes a very convincing looking Joker. Second of all, he looks freakishly skinny in this movie, which I don't know if that's just because the Joker's supposed to be skinny or if that's like the director's idea or what, but he just looks really, really unhealthy in the trailer. But it's, I don't know. For me, it seems like the movie's going to be a little too much suspensefulness, I think. I'm not a huge fan of suspenseful movies, so I don't know.
I feel like Joker is just such an easy go-to. I mean, Joaquin is an awesome actor, and I don't want to take away from him because what I saw in the trailer, I mean, as far as acting, it looked like he was doing a good job.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like he was trying to marry Heath Ledger's Joker with Jack Nicholson's Joker a little bit. And I think that was kind of the vibe I
could
got
see
from
that.
The trailer.
Yeah.
But you know, everything live action Batman is just so saturated for the most part with Joker. There are so many other villains. I mean, Batman has probably some of the most number of villains that I've ever seen in comics.
Have so
like,
I mean, it seems like they have a jail just for Batman's villains.
Yes. And I mean, as much as I absolutely love three-dimensional characters and characters with backstory, motivations, and reasons, and, you know, fleshed out things, there is a time and a place for a 2D character. And the Joker is that character. He's not a character that needs fleshed out. He just needs to be. He works best as a mystery. And to take that mystery away, I don't know. To me, it doesn't really work. And if they, you know, I get that they wanted to do like this tragic backstory for a villain, but honestly, there are other villains out there that have a tragic backstory that they could have gone with.
I mean, I feel like,
You know?
yeah, I feel like as someone who doesn't know very many of the villains from DC, probably because they keep highlighting the Joker, I would like to see a movie about a different villain. And it helps that there are some that actually have tragic backstories to begin with, so we can take a look at what those are. And I think that would be something really cool for people to get excited about.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like, the obvious one to go with would be Mr. Freeze. His wife has a terminal illness, and he, puts her into cryo freeze so that he can try to figure out, how to save her. And for one reason or another, gets dropped into this life of crime, just trying to supplement his research and everything like that. I mean, that's a pretty obvious takeaway. I think if they wanted to go for the more psychological aspect, Killer Croc would be amazing, because he basically, has a medical condition, a skin condition that makes him look different.
Okay.
And from the time he was a child, he was abused, he was shunned aside, he was even sold, in some stories, he was sold off to a circus to, basically be laughed at and be a freak. And, basically over time, it's like, well, you've treated me like an animal my whole life, so okay, I'll be an animal for you then. Kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it could be a really great examination of a person's psyche, how they change, and how they maybe were trying to be good and look for validation, and they just never received it, and basically
as
just
like Mr.
finally gave up.
Freeze, we all know his story, so
Yeah,
it's
and
not
so-
really something that
go
would
ahead.
be new. And at least with Joker, maybe they are going to try something different. No, well, I do, and I don't even.
I don't know. I don't know Mr. Freeze's story
I
because
feel
I'm
like they've at least
completely new
touched
to
on it.
everything.
Well, the thing is the Joker's had so many different origin stories, and it's kind of canon that he doesn't really have a canon story, that his story constantly changes.
Okay.
And that every time
Jokers.
he tells it, or that every time somebody else tells it, there might be an element of truth in there, but it's still like nobody really knows the truth.
Okay.
You
And
know?
maybe that is because he's gone so crazy off the deep end that every time someone tries to talk to him about his backstory, he's like tells them a new story every time.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of harken back to that with Heath Ledger's, where he would tell a different story about how he got his
Oh,
stars.
sure.
And I think that probably is a part of his, like, mental illness, whatever he has going on with him, that, he just, either he doesn't remember or he just makes something up, and that's what he believes happened to him.
I don't know. But I like what you said, Elisabeth, that like the Joker best operates as a mystery, where we don't really know what his motivations are, and that kind of is what makes him an effective villain. Is like he's just a villain. Yeah, he's unique that way, and that he's a villain because he's a villain, and we don't exactly know why, but that makes him unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean, in real life, there are people out there who are just rotten for seemingly no reason. And I mean, obviously, I don't want there to be a bunch of villains who are just, bad. Oh, I'm bad because I like to be bad. And that's just me, But I think that used correctly, they definitely do have their place. And Joker, I think, is, classically one of them.
Yeah. Well, so that's coming out October, I think. Yeah, that's what it said at the end of the trailer. It said October. No day, but you can probably look that up and find it. Joaquin Phoenix, I think, like, to be honest, he did a good job. Like, he seemed like he would be a convincing, effective actor for the Joker. So, I mean, just seems like a little too much for me personally. Not the type of movie I'd probably want to see for me, but that's fine. Yeah. Well, thanks for getting nerdy with us today. We hope you enjoyed our roundup of movies. We'd also love to hear from you guys if you had other movies that you guys saw that you thought were also awesome, or what your opinions are of the movies that we shared with you guys. So hit us up on our social media and let us know your thoughts. And with that, I'm Emily.
I'm Elisabeth.
And I'm Lindsay. And thanks for getting nerdy with us today on Beauties and Headcanons.